So we'll keep this pretty short and ended up with a little toast. But this is my wife, Tracy, and you guys have met almost all the kids. We have one at home that's getting ready to have a baby. But we wanted to just extend our thanks to everybody that traveled and made the trip here, all our families and friends, everybody that's joining us here tonight. Tell you a little bit about Clayton. So Clayton is he's number 4 of 8, 5 of 8. But he comes in a tough position in the family because he's got a lot of older brothers, one younger brother, and he's sandwiched between his 2 sisters. So that's always challenging growing up. But if you know Clay's very likable. If you look at the pictures on the table, you see him smiling. That's how Clay grew up. He was always smiling. He's likable. He's always a people pleaser. And probably of all the kids, he's kind of got the Irish gift of gab. He likes to tell stories. He'll tell you a story. He's never met somebody he doesn't like. But kind of along with that is, Clay's known a little bit to embellish some stories sometimes. And, every now and then, you gotta challenge him on it a little bit. But we'll get to more of that a little bit later here. But when he was growing up, we didn't know what Clay was going to do in life, but we always said he's going to have fun. Clay's going to have fun with whatever he does. So we were kind of, when he was going through college and picking what he wanted to do, he wanted to do research. And we thought, well, okay, do what he wants to do if that's what he wants, but always have a plan, but don't be afraid to change it. That's kind of what we tell all our kids. But we just thought with the research end of it, we're like, that's just, I don't know that Clay will meet enough people, for him. But and then after he got out of school, he decided, well, he wanted to be a vet. So that was a good change for him because that's what led him to meet Kendal. So anyway, when Kendal came around, Clay was down at the island. And, the first time we were down there, we met Kendal. She was really nice. But you kind of tell when you looked at him, there was, little side glances and stuff going on. And we would FaceTime a lot with Clay when he was down on the island. We'd FaceTime. And every now and then we'd think we'd see somebody in the background or somebody be over there studying or something like that. And every now and then I'd throw out a questionable comment just to see if he'd get nervous, just to make him a little nervous. And, yeah, we could kind of tell that, he probably had a study partner over there. But we kept hearing her name more and more. So, when they finally decided to be, boyfriend and girlfriend, get engaged, we really weren't surprised. But when the part that, I guess for us, when we kind of knew that she was the right one for Clay was we were all sitting around the table and, Clay's telling the story and he's embellishing it a little bit. And then you kind of see he kind of maybe embellished it a little bit too far, and you kind of saw Kendal give him a little look out of the side of her eye. And Clay saw it. She was very discreet about it. Clay saw it. Me and Tracy noticed it too. So we were like, yep, that's the right girl for Clay. She's going to keep him in line. So anyway, so if you guys want, raise your glasses and have a toast to Clay and Kendal. Wish them, lots of love and happiness in their lives together.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you are starting your dinner, I'm going to ask the best man to come up for his speech. So let's give a round of applause.
There you go, sir. Thank you, sir. Yeah, you're good. All right. Oh, good. I didn't scare you all this time. So those of you guys that don't know me, probably mostly this half the room, I'm Jacob, and I am the best man for Clayton. So make sure we get this right. If you believe the stories that me and Clayton, my mom and his mom always tell, me and Clayton met back when we were in pumpkin seats as babies, sitting at our brother's baseball game pretty much every time they had a game. And then we just kind of kept hanging out as we got older and older until we got to high school. And then that's basically the only reason I got through high school, because at the time, Clayton did most of my homework and wrote most of my speeches. So even though still has terrible handwriting. No, that it's a receipt, I promise. There's nothing on it. But on a serious note, you guys didn't come all this way just to hear me talk, so we're going to make this real short and sweet. Clayton and Kendal. I promised her I wouldn't call her by any nicknames or anything tonight, so I think I speak for all of us here tonight when I say we wish you guys a lifetime of happiness and love. So if we could all just raise our glass to Clayton and Kendal.
Hi, my name is Michaela, and I'm the maid of honor. I've known Kendal since our first year in undergrad together at the University of Guelph, where our mutual friend Sarah introduced us. Over numerous occasions of running to the grocery store for ice cream, snacking on cucumber and carrots with Caesar salad dressing, bonding over a shared love of the TV show Friends, gymming out in the car, sharing a lack of motivation to study, and many, many failed attempts at making birthday cakes for our friends. Kendal and I became the best of friends over those 4 years. When Kendal made the courageous decision to move to St. Kitts to pursue her veterinary career dreams, we often talked about how it wasn't fair that we no longer got to randomly sleep over at each other's houses like we used to. We couldn't catch up over a Subway lunch, or more importantly, we wouldn't have the chance at becoming TikTok famous. We would have. Although a lot of outside tears were shed when you left, and even more inside tears, God, as he always does, clearly had a plan when he called you to go all those miles away from home. Clayton, thank you for stepping up and being a true friend to Kendal during your time on the island. Although you may have failed to secure Kendal's first best friend status and settled for second, you now have the more important status of husband and forever partner. Thank you for loving Kendal as deeply as you do, for showing her patience, for being her quiet and stillness, and for most importantly, having the patience of a saint, as I'm sure she often tests it. I hope you cherish growing old with Kendal and making new memories together as much as I have enjoyed the past 7 years of friendship with her. Kendal, it's hard to put the love and admiration I have for a friend like you into words, but I'll start with, could I be any happier for you? I could go on and on about all the funny, crazy, and amazing memories we have together. You make the bad days tolerable and the good days great, and our friendship has endured the test of time and distance. I am so grateful to celebrate this monumental time in your life with you and to continue to see what God has in store for you and Clayton. Life hasn't always been the most straightforward, but you are one of the strongest people I know. You are brilliant and hardworking, thoughtful, beautiful inside and out, and have an infectious laugh. You are so incredibly kind, and these are all attributes that will make you an incredible future vet, daughter, sister, best friend, soulmate, but most importantly, why you will be such an amazing wife. My wish for you both is that you continue to be the best of friends and face life's challenges with the same unity and love that has brought you here today. Take a moment with me to raise a glass and thank Kendal and Clayton for sharing their happiness with us all.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Josh. I am Kendall's older brother by almost exactly 2 years.
And I'm Jared. I'm Kendall's younger brother by almost exactly 2 years.
Oh, good. Laughing already is very good. So, yeah. For those of you who are a little bit confused as to why Kendall's brothers are giving speeches when neither of us are the best man, or we're kind of way down at the end of the line there. Don't worry, we're just as confused as you are. Considering the fact we've done nothing but bug Kendall for the last 20-some-odd years of her life and just poke her buttons over and over and over again. The fact that she's just given us an open mic for the next 5-ish minutes is a pretty risky play on her part, so yeah.
But for anybody too worried about that, we have promised Kendall, both our significant others, and our mom that we will do our best behavior for at least the next 5 minutes.
Or maybe longer, because some of the other speeches were short, so we might steal some time. So, anyway, Kendall, we'll start with you. We just want you to know that we love you very much. And like we said, we're going to try to be on our best behavior and maybe not push some buttons that we could potentially push. So maybe we'll let you know just very quickly all the things we're not going to talk about in our wedding speech. So first of all, we're not going to mention anything about some guy who may or may not look very much like Clayton that didn't have to try that hard to get good grades in you. That's as good grades as you in vet school. Because I know that's a touchy subject, so we're not going to talk about it. Trust me, Clayton, that's not so subtle competition that is ever present in your relationship, has been ever present in ours as well. I remember times where my high school report card, even though I was 2 years older, would get pulled out and her grades would get compared to mine, and you can imagine they did not go well, regardless of what the result was. So, there's that.
And while we're on the topic of competitiveness, I seem to remember that the first time I beat you at Mario Kart, you immediately stopped playing with me for years. It was only one race, I think, so there's that too. Also, I think maybe the time it comes out the most is when you and Nate are getting smoked by us in Euchre with our about 99% win rate, so. And all the times you ask us to race you snowboarding, even though I don't think you've ever won.
Yeah. I'll have you know, we used to cheat, but we don't anymore. So, Kendall, we're also not going to, anyway, Kendall, so I know that your drive to succeed and your competitive nature also drove me, and it drives Jeremy too. So Clayton, get ready, because for the rest of your life, you're going to have some subtle or not so subtle competitions. And most of them are going to push you to be better and grow better.
One of the other things we're not going to mention is our feelings about soccer versus baseball as a better sport, which was a childhood-long argument for us. Unfortunately for Kendall, she was always outnumbered 2-1, which, along with being wrong, makes it pretty hard to win. Thankfully, we did succeed in getting Kendall to marry someone who holds the right opinion in that argument, sealing victory 3-1. We've spent most of our lives trying to get Kendall to marry someone who shared interest in baseball and the Blue Jays. Unfortunately, she only got that half right.
Kendall, we're also not going to mention your undying devotion to our family's traditions. I remember, especially our Easter tradition, which was hunting for candy in the family room. And I remember one Easter when I was probably 16 or 18, and I decided I didn't want to get down on my hands and knees and hunt jelly beans anymore. You'd be surprised to know that because of Kendall's love of traditions, she was, let's say, hesitant to change that, and I'm pretty sure argued that I shouldn't get the equivalent candy share. I'm pretty sure that's how it went. But our growing family and our changing traditions has and will continue to be an adjustment. But Clayton, you can look forward to the establishment of many new great family traditions between the two of you as a newly created family, and with your extended families, I'm sure that forward to for years and years to come.
Right along with those traditions, Kendall was also always a sibling who wanted to keep everybody together. Even at baseball games, she really had no interest in going to the and complain about how long they were. We have no doubt that Kendall will be even more committed to keeping your guys' family together in the future, even if there are a lot of conflicting interests like there were for us.
All right, so Kendall, now that we've recapped everything we're not going to talk about, we can move on to Clayton. So Clayton, you're very lucky to have found a girl like Kendall. Not only is she smart, driven, and very loyal, but perhaps her best quality is that she has two really, really cool brothers.
Although Clayton has only been in Canada with us a few weeks over the past couple of years, he's had plenty of opportunities to be thrown into the fire with our family. I think both of our significant others would say that the Wilsons like to introduce their future spouses to the family with some interesting, potentially life-threatening at times, experiences. For Clayton, this has included learning water ski, snowboarding in Quebec, and being all but forced into playing softball with us during our playoffs last year, which he managed to pull off without a hitch.
But potentially most life-threatening of all is the game Throw Burrito. So, for those of you who don't know, Throw Burrito is a game where you play cards and you throw plushy burritos at each other. But at my parents' house, this takes on a whole new level because of the open sight lines and the space that you can run around in. The first time we played this game, I think it was the first or second time I had met Clayton. We played it all as a family, and he made the rookie mistake of playing in socks on my parents' tile floor. So in a duel with Jeremy, they're running around the kitchen and running around the halls, and he absolutely ate it on the hallway right in front of all of our family. Just absolutely ate it. I hit it, by the way.
But no matter what it's been, with Kendall pushing him along at times, Clay has taken everything in stride and shown our family nothing but love, determination, and the willingness to occasionally laugh at himself, and has done it all with a smile on his face. Even with the relatively little time we've been able to spend with him, he's fitting perfectly with our family, and we're very happy to add another brother to our unit.
Speaking of fitting in perfectly, I do have to mention the shuffleboard game that we played with Clayton and Nate on our most recent, our only cruise to Alaska as the 11 of us. After a 3-hour grueling battle, Jared and I can safely say that we hold a clean 1-0 record against Nate and Clayton, and very much look forward to that being part of our next cruise together that hopefully is sooner rather than later. It's one of our favorite parts of the trip, for sure.
As one final thing, we thought it might be a good idea for us to give Clayton a list of advice for living with Kendall, because after all, we're the experts. We have lots of experience pushing Kendall's buttons and have a near perfect understanding of when he was just a little bit too far, and so we've compiled a list of advice. First of all, she really likes feet and enjoys when you push her with yours.
She also loves it when you take her finger and you push it firmly into her side, so like that.
She really enjoys change and leaves tradition for the most part.
It always works when you tell her to calm down. I heard you tell her to just chill, that works too.
This part is going to be very important for your future. Kendall has always said she only wants one dog and one pet. She doesn't want the hassle of having more than one. If she ever says she does, just remind her it's not actually what she wants.
And lastly, she is sick and tired of the number of blankets that she has. I can't believe this hasn't been brought up yet. She has like 76 blankets. So no more, Clayton. Just no more. She's tired. Anyway, so if you follow that list, and I'm sure we'll come up with lots more as we continue to think about it, you will for sure have a very exciting and lively household for a very long time. But seriously, Clayton, we very much admire your patience with our sister. We're very happy with the kindness you show her, with how happy you clearly make her, and with how you have led her over the past couple of years. If we can give you both one real, actual piece of advice from our experience with our wife and fiance, it's to do your best to selflessly love one another. Colossians 3:14 says, "And over all these virtues put on love, which binds them all together in perfect unity." So if you selflessly love each other, you might actually have a slightly less lively household, which would be good. So we're praying for you guys, that you guys continue to grow closer together in love and closer to God as you begin your marriage.
Great job, Josh and Jeremy. Next up, the bride and groom are going to go around to each table and they're going to take a chat really quickly and take a quick photo with you. Again, this is for a couple seconds. They're going to stop by, take a photo with you, and move on to the next. But, look forward to that. So stay at your table. They'll be around in just a couple minutes. Welcome up Todd and Cheryl for their speech. Come on up, guys.
All the time. This is what I'm told. Okay. I feel like I sound a little scratchy, but here we go, Kendall. I know Dad was giving a speech, but I decided I wanted to say something, and I promise I probably will cry. But I will keep it short. I am unbelievably proud of you. You are one of the strongest women I know. From the very beginning, your passion and drive, occasionally coming out as stubbornness, has been evident. You have always kept your eyes on God and followed his path, which, by the way, has not necessarily been what you or I thought the plan should be. But God's path is always best, and his path led you to Clayton and where we are today. Clay, you've seen Kendall through so much, and you've been there for her. Especially with Kendall first meeting in St. Kitts and now in Missouri, I can't tell you how comforting it has been to know that you've been close by and that you love and care for her. Thank you. As you two embark on this exciting new chapter, know we are praying for you, love you deeply, and we'll be showing up to visit no matter where you are.
I'm thinking that the upside of this is it might be the last time I cry tonight. So, first of all, Cheryl and I would like to thank everyone for being here and joining the Wilsons and Carols in the celebration of Clayton and Kendall. Many folks in the Carroll family have traveled all the way from the Midwest, great state of Missouri, to be here. Thank you for making the trek. Make America great again. We're thankful for your safe journey, and we will be praying for your safe journey home. It's my privilege to have the opportunity to say a few words, and I'll do my best to keep it relatively short. But first of all, I'd like to thank God for Cheryl, my incredible wife and outstanding mom to our kids, for the energy she has put into this day for Kendall and Clayton, and for the inconceivable dedication and effort she invests in our family, which continues to get bigger. She's an amazing, godly woman who, at one time in her life, lost her way long enough for me to convince her to marry me. Cheryl, I'm so thankful for you. I'm blessed by God to have you, and I know that the kids feel that way too. What is there that I can say to let you know a little bit more about Kendall? The boys did a great job, I thought, but I'll tell you a couple of things. First of all, in case you haven't noticed, she wears her heart on her sleeve. Clayton, you will never, ever, ever have to guess at how she's feeling. This started very young, when she would scream and scream and scream when she was taken into the nursery at church. And the only one who could ever comfort her was Cheryl. The ladies in the nursery used to catch lots every week, and the losers had to go work in the room that Kendall was in. Occasionally they would give her to Jack or to Sharon and say, "Can somebody please give us a rest?" And Jack and Sharon would walk her around the lobby, and we could hear her when we were sitting in the service on Sundays. Of course, and then there was the biting phase, and except that she didn't bite other people, which, you know, was not desirable, but at least it would have been normal. When Kendall got really, really mad, she would put the back of her hand in her mouth like this, and she would bite herself really, really hard. And I don't know, I have no idea what she was thinking, except that maybe it felt really good when she stopped. But it took her a while to get out of that phase. She has got a wee rebellious side. When she was younger, she used to wear her hair in pigtails, and it was my favorite. And then I told her it was my favorite, and guess what? No more pigtails. She's always wanted to be a vet. It's the only thing that Cheryl and I have ever heard her say that she wanted to do. She's never strayed, not once. And her love for animals is obvious, which is why at one point in our house we had 2 dogs, 2 rabbits, and 2 hedgehogs, which are not good pets. Kendall, your mom and I love you very, very much. We love the woman that you've become. You're headstrong and yet gentle. You're stubborn yet thoughtful and kind. You're reformed in your theology. Praise God for that. And more importantly, you love God with all your heart, and you are courageous enough to follow him anywhere. When the kids were younger, like 9, 7, and 5, I was cleaning the back windows of the house. I'm not completely sure they've been done since then. But anyway, I had a 16-foot extension ladder, and the boys came out. All 3 of them came out, and the boys, Josh said, "Hey, can I climb the ladder?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no problem." And so Josh went hiking up this 16-foot ladder, and then Jeremy, as you know, who's 2 years younger than Kendall, said, "Can I go up the ladder?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And so Jeremy went hiking up the ladder just to say that he did. And then Kendall said, "Hey, Dad, can I go hiking up the ladder?" And I'm like, "No." And she goes, "No, why? You let the boys do it." And I said, "Yeah, but I got 2 boys." She's lived with this pretty much her whole life. One time in university, she had to go out after dark. And she was taking a bus to her friends. And we made her stay on the phone with us from the time she walked out the door of her house until she got on the bus. And she said, "You wouldn't make the boys do this." Nope. I used to joke with her that double standards were still standards. And I say joke, but she never really laughed. Maybe I wasn't telling her right. It probably wasn't fair. But she's my girl. Until today, I guess. After today, she won't need me to kill the bugs in her room. After today, she won't call me to cover her up with a ridiculous amount of blankets. And she won't yell at me anymore in the middle of the night for me to come when she's had a bad dream. There's a special father-daughter thing that can't really be explained. There's no circumstance or training or anecdotes or anything that can properly prepare a dad for the day he turns over the care and protection of his baby girl to another man. There's just not. But here we are. Clayton, today as God has purposed, I turn this primary responsibility over to you. As parents, you have an idea in your head about the way your kids' lives are going to go. Then God steps in and says, like he did through the prophet Isaiah, "Your thoughts are not my thoughts, neither are your ways my ways. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." We have watched as God's sovereign hand has directed Kendal on a path we would never have dreamed of. But we can see very clearly the primary purpose of this particular road was to bring the 2 of you together. You, of all people, a freaking American. Clay, you and I have had lots of talks, some more awkward than others. You've seen the best and worst of Kendal and her crazy family, and you're still here. You won't be surprised when I tell you I've likely watched you more than anyone else has. I can see your love for God, your love for Kendal, and the gentleness of your spirit. I watch carefully as you come to her side when she's hurting or frustrated or sad. I'm thankful to God for bringing you into Kendal in our lives. Jim and Tracy, you've raised a fine, hardworking, God-fearing man. Thank you. Clay, God has placed certain privileges and responsibilities on you as Kendal's husband. You must lead your household spiritually and love Kendal sacrificially as Christ loved the church. God holds you ultimately accountable for all the decisions that are made in your family. Seek him first in everything, and as the Apostle Paul says, rejoice in hope, be patient in tribulation, and be constant in prayer. My beautiful princess, love and respect Clayton, and allow him to lead by submitting to his headship. And both of you, submit to one another out of reverence for Christ. Bring praise and glory to God through your marriage. We pray the fullness of God's blessing on the two of you as you start your life together. And remember that we will always, always be here for you. Love you very much. And I'm going to raise a toast. To Kendal and the freaking American.
Kendal and Clayton Carroll. Wow. We just wanted to take a little bit and, thank everybody in here. Try to keep this fairly brief so we can get out into the dance floor, but I wanted to take a moment, thank everyone for coming. Thank especially our parents. Both of them have provided wonderful examples of what it means to be a husband and wife, what it means to raise a family, what it means to love each other. And we would be nowhere without your example and without you guys in our lives. And we appreciate all the love and all the support and all the pushing us forward and, even telling us no at times, telling us we were wrong when we need to hear it, even though at the time we don't ever think that that's right. But at the end of the day, that's the things that make us who we are, and we're very appreciative of all of that. We just wanted to say thank you. We also wanted to say thank you to our, we wanted to say thank you to our bridal party, all of them family, we're very close friends, and they've done a lot for us over the years, been there for us through thick and thin, and there's no one else that we would rather have up there with us today, supporting us as we take this next step in our lives. And we also wanted to say thank you to everyone who's traveled near and far to come be here. We know coming to a wedding, it can be, especially when it's 1,000 miles away or even just a couple hours away, it can be a trek. And we just really appreciate all the effort that everyone's put in for coming here today. And that means a lot to us to have you guys here to support us. Another thank you to Pastor Kelvin for putting on a beautiful ceremony for us today, giving us a lot of wonderful guiding words as we continue with our marriage and our relationship with God. Scott and Deb Martin are wonderful photographers who have been with us for a very long day, but it was a very, very good day. We got a lot of great pictures, and they have been super supportive through all that. I wanted to thank them for that. And our MC Nate, who has kept us on track and done a great job introducing everyone and helping this night go smoothly. And is there anyone I'm forgetting here? I think that's everyone. And if not, know that we are still very thankful for you. We appreciate every single one of you and love you all very much. I just want to say thank you.